Welcome to Sports Scene, everyone. I'm Sam Reno, coming to you from the Annenberg Media Center. Joining me today are Courtney Wise and Gordon Redfield-Gale. The Pac-12 Women's Soccer Championship will be decided 2 days from now when the Trojans take on UCLA in Westwood. A win or a draw gives the Trojans their first outright Pac-12 championship in program history. Courtney, will they get it done?
Yes, I think that they will get it done. USC has the best players in the game, especially with the nation's top recruit, Simone Jackson, and also every single one of them has a very high soccer IQ and has the tenacity and grit to carry the team forward, especially these two players. Corey Bethune, who has shown off her strength during the win against Stanford. She was able to find places and spaces to move the ball and accelerate more throughout the other games. And also Savannah DeMello, who has showcased herself as a power forward and an attack, and as well as her ability to win one-on-one defensive battles.
You're absolutely right, Courtney. Not only does this team have the talent, though, they also have the coach to get it done. Kadani McAlpine has shown time and time again, especially this weekend, that he's not afraid to change things up when he needs to, and the team goes right along with him. With Hawking out, his traditional 4-2-3-1 setup just won't cut it. He had to change things up, and he did, switching to a single midfield pivot with Simi Awujo, allowing Bethune and DeMello to play as attacking mids, led him to a 2-0 win over the Golden Bears on Thursday. And against Stanford, he went back to his traditional setup, but moving DeMello into the holding midfield position allowed her to showcase those defensive abilities you talked about, and they were on full display as her turnover and assist created the game winner in overtime, scored by the hottest player in the country, Corey Bethune. 5 goals in her last 3, the only player in the Pac-12 top 5 in goals and assists. The Pac-12 Player of the Week talked about how this Stanford game sets them up nicely for UCLA on Friday.
This is a good game to follow up on.
Yeah.
And this is a learning lesson. We know not to give up. Just keep pushing towards the end.
But as hot as this USC team is, this UCLA team just keeps doing enough to stay alive, and their attack could pose some problems for the USC defense. They're a top half team in the Pac-12 in chance creation, and the other 4 alongside USC have given the Trojans some problems. These end-to-end games played by the likes of Stanford and Arizona State were 1-goal slim victories for USC, and Washington and Washington State are the 2 draws on the Pac-12 record for USC. Gordon, how can this UCLA team get it done?
Yeah, you make a really good point. UCLA is a very good team. I think it's most likely that this game ends up in a draw. Firstly, because obviously UCLA is very good. They are still an undefeated team that, regardless of how close these games have been against Stanford or whoever they're playing, they have still come out with wins. And they also have Mia Fishel, who is one of the best players in the Pac-12. She actually leads Division I women's soccer in game-winning goals. She can be a difference maker for this match. I think it seems pretty obvious that this game will end up in a draw.
USC football is heading into the weekend with a quarterback situation that is murky at best. Dante Williams spoke about the puzzle on Monday.
So, I mean, it's about, like I say, getting the right guy on the field to make sure we will win the football game. It's not really our issue. We're fortunate because we have 2 really good quarterbacks that we're confident in. It's more of our opponents' things that they have to handle.
Gordon, what do you make of the quarterback conundrum?
I honestly think that the system is horrible. I think Dante Williams is clueless out there. He's switching between Slovis and Dart back and forth, with Dart coming in, putting up a 96-yard touchdown drive, and then Slovis is coming right back in. It wasn't successful last week, and in college football today, it does not work. You look at the best teams in the nation, Georgia, you look at Alabama, you look at Oregon, they all have proven quarterbacks, JT Daniels, Bryce Young, of course, Anthony Brown, and it just doesn't seem like this is going to work for USC. They don't have enough talent around Jackson Dart or Keenan Slovis, whoever it may be.
We've all heard that saying, when you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. But I think it's fair to differentiate USC here. I mean, we're not a national title contender that we're talking about here. We're talking about a team trying to fight for 6 wins, and I'm old enough to remember that 18-wheeler package down in Austin that got the Longhorns back after week 1 against Notre Dame in 2016, or even Dwayne Haskins and Tate Martell in Ohio State a couple years ago. Courtney, why can't this dual quarterback system work?
Hold on. Just give me 1 second. I don't think we can't compare us to Ohio State and them and then say we're good enough. We don't have the talent around our quarterback for them to succeed like Ohio State or Oklahoma or whatever team it may be. But Courtney, go ahead.
I believe Dante Williams needs to pick one QB to start this Arizona State game, because the QB rotation is just not going to work with the game, and it will just mess up the game overall. I think that Jackson Dart is better at running the game. He's better at throwing. His accuracy is outstanding. He has a higher passer rating than Keaton Slovis, but their average is the same. Although, Keaton Slovis has the arm strength to make it through, but I think that Jackson Dart is Monte Williams' answer for going into the Arizona State game on Saturday.
Nobody knows who's going to start Saturday, but the Trojans need a win to have a shot at a bowl game. Courtney, can they beat the Sun Devils?
Yes, I 100% agree that they could beat the Sun Devils because only if they put in Jackson Dart because he is better than Keaton Slovis and he has started one game against Wazoo, but he has played against Arizona State. His passer rating is 18 points higher than Slovis. But the Arizona Sun Devils, they have the second best defense in the Pac-12. USC's offense, I believe that they can power through their defense. Although we will be missing Drake London, which will take a hard hit on our offensive side. But I believe that, Kyle Ford or Taj Washington help step up and make a breakout game against Arizona State.
I think you're right. I think Jackson Dart gives us a much better shot to win, but I do not think USC will take down Arizona State this week. Firstly, the team has been super inconsistent. We have yet to win back-to-back games. I don't see any reason why this will change, especially after last week. We barely managed to beat a winless Arizona team. And then secondly, run game holds us back. Arizona State is 4th in the Pac-12 in rush yards per game, and USC has yet to defeat a team who has more rush yards per game than them. I don't see any scenario where, given our past history, we win this game.
The USC men's basketball season is less than a week away, which means it's time for some hot takes. Gordon, give me a prediction.
I think USC will miss the tournament this year, unfortunately. They have a lack of a secondary scoring option. Obviously, Isaiah Mobley is talented, but they lost Taj Edey as well, who was a very underrated player last year for us. And returning players have experience, Ethan Anderson, Isaiah White, but they are still just rotation players. I don't see any reason why that team can do it. And secondly, this team is very inconsistent year to year. USC has not made a back-to-back tournament since 2016. Maybe that's an Andy Enfield issue. It's hard to tell at this point. And Isaiah Mobley, thrived off his brother's success. His three-point percentage and his points per game both went up with Evan Mobley on his team. I don't see any reason why he won't regress back to where he was his freshman year. I don't think USC is good enough this year.
I think you're selling Isaiah Mobley a little short. In fact, I think you're selling him a lot short. Isaiah Mobley is going to be your Pac-12 Player of the Year. That's right, 55% from three in that NCAA tournament run, including that explosion against the Jayhawks in the second round. He scored in double figures in all 4 of those games. He's got the motivation. He saw his brother go in the top 3 in the draft and balling out for the Cavaliers this year. It's his turn now, and I think Enfield's going to give him the keys to the offense. With his playmaking ability and the shot making he showed in that NCAA tournament, I think he can really lead this USC offense past expectations. And if we look around at others to challenge him, everyone on the all Pac-12 first team last season is no longer in the Pac-12, either graduated or transferred. It's wide open. And I think Isaiah Mobley, with a USC team that's going to exceed expectations, is going to take home that title.
And for my hot take, I believe that, the men's basketball team, they will go into the Sweet 16 tournament for 3 reasons only. They're going to be consistently competitive with strength on the offensive side. And if they keep this momentum throughout the season, I believe that they will be very successful. My second reason is former 5-star guard Boogie Ellis will be making his debut this season. And he's very good on the defensive side. He plays with high intensity and energy. And he will put up a lot of points for the Trojans. My last reason is that Isaiah Mobley will continue with his brother's legacy, and he will become more assertive and is projected to be, the team's leading scorer throughout this season.
That's all the time we have for Sports Scene today. I'll be traveling from here at Wallace-Annenberg Hall to UCLA's Wallace-Annenberg Field for the soccer game on Friday. So make sure to follow along and check out all of our other sports coverage at uscannenbergmedia.com and catch another Sports Scene next Wednesday. For Courtney Wise and Gordon Redfield-Gale, I'm Sam Reno. See you next time.